How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beared Down Uncut, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. The Bears have been bashed on by media all offseason, and following a Week 1 win, what are the odds that the Bears outperform those expectations that the media had in 2020? Today, in episode number 84 of Uncut, we are going to be talking about our updated expectations for the Bears in 2020 and talk about whether or not they can outperform and outweigh the predictions by the media this offseason. Before we get into this episode, I would like to say it's another double upload for us. The third straight day that we are double uploading on the channel. We think we're pumping out more content than most anyone on YouTube. So if you do want more double uploads, do us a favor, smash a like on this video, subscribe if you are new. You guys keep absolutely destroying it, and we're sitting here absolutely just gawking at the success that we're able to put up, and we're so appreciative that we're able to do this for the best fans in the world, and you guys support us day in, day out. So the grind to 3,000 subs is on, so if you do want Bears content every day of the week, click that red button and click the bell for notifications whenever we post, and we're going to keep the content coming for you guys. I am your host, Chris Maltby, and today I am joined with my co-host, Jaylen McClinton, to talk about the media, something that hates the Bears the most. Jaylen, how's it going, buddy?
Going good. You guys can't see me, but I actually have on my Beared Down hoodie. I just got it a couple days ago, and that's about it. Can't wait to talk some Bears football and how the media has been hating on us this whole offseason.
Yeah, if you do want our merchandise, if you're ever wondering about that, we do have a shop. The link to that's in the description, so go check that out. It's actually very comfortable. I have a couple stickers as well. We have a ton of stuff in the store, so go check that out. But today we're here to talk about the media. And before we get into the record predictions that some of the media had, let's talk about some of the statements that were made throughout the offseason about the Bears. First and foremost, one that draws back to me is Bucky Brooks saying that Khalil Mack is not a top 3 edge rusher in this league. Mack did register 6 quarterback pressures a couple of days ago, which I believe was the 3rd best in the league. Another hot take that comes to mind is Matt Miller saying that Matt Nagy was going to be fired this offseason, regardless of what happens. He also said, Matt Miller of Bleacher Report, by the way, that the Bears' safety Eddie Jackson, who is now the 2nd highest paid safety in the league behind Budda Baker, isn't a top 10 safety. And obviously Eddie's now back at free safety, and he did get credited with that tip ball on the Kyle Fuller interception in Detroit. So Eddie Jackson is back to making plays, and in my mind, he's definitely a top 10 safety. So today we are here to talk about whether or not the Bears can outweigh the predictions set by the media. So let's see what the media said just about a week and a half ago about how the Bears were going to perform in 2020. USA Today predicted the Bears to go 5-11 and finish 3rd in the NFC North. Sports Illustrated 6-10. Sporting News 7-9. Bleacher Report and NBC Sports also fell into that column of 8-8. Pro Football Network had the Bears in last place in the NFC North behind the Detroit Lions, who obviously the Bears just beat. Say what you want about that game, but a win is a win. And CBS Sports, who has dogged on the Bears for some time, also had the Bears in last place in the NFC North. Now, there were a few generous predictions by the media this offseason. The website 938 predicted the Bears to be 9-7 and make a wild card spot to the playoffs. SB Nation predicted that the Bears will be in the playoffs with okay quarterback play. Jaylen, the defense didn't look incredible a couple of days ago, and when you look back at that 2019 season, the Bears did win 8 games, and the defense basically carried them with how the offense performed in 2019. Total offense, the Bears were the bottom of the league, 27th ranked offensive line in the league. It wasn't great, and the defense definitely carried them a bit. I think we're kind of realizing now that there may be a slight drop-off from Vic Fangio's defense to Chuck Pagano's defense, if not even a bigger margin lost. But, the Bears' defense is still looking good. They got the job done and forced a turnover against the Lions, and Robert Quinn coming back could definitely change the tempo of this defense, especially the front seven. So, Jaylen, I want to ask you, I mean, you heard me read off all those predictions, some of the bad ones, 5-11, 6-10, last in the NFC North. Do you think the Bears will outperform most of these expectations here in 2020?
Well, to some extent, we're already kind of doing that. We won our first game. Like you said, some people have us projected at 4-12. I don't know how you can look at our schedule and say we're gonna lose 12 of our 16 games and only win 4. Like that literally makes no sense to me. On paper, we have a very, I wouldn't say a great team. It's we obviously had better players in the last couple of years, but we're still a good team with competent quarterback play. We're a very decent team. We can beat some great teams and stuff like that. So, I definitely feel like we're gonna, beat expectations. I know what my team. I know how good my team is. We have a great defense, great pass rushers, people in the secondary that can make plays. Obviously, we did it last Sunday when we needed to. People on the offensive side of the ball, Allen Robinson. He's kind of angry right now, but he's still a great player. We have Anthony Miller, who I expect a big third year out of, and he already played well for his first game. Running game was great, tight end play. Jimmy Graham caught his first touchdown for the Bears and stuff like that. So if we can bring it all together and play consistent, like I know we can, I think we're definitely going to beat expectations.
Yeah, I think it's all about consistency for the Bears. I mean, we saw a run game against Detroit that I don't think anyone would have expected. Hence, it is only 1 week, but I think the Bears can hopefully keep it up. I actually got a chance to watch the all 22 of that game, meaning the entire game, break it down. It's crazy to see the impact that some of the new pickups had. Tashawn Gibson was pretty silent throughout the game, but Jalen Johnson, obviously, 6 tackles, 2 passes defended. Also, some people think he deserved to be credited for that tip on the Kyle Fuller interception. Jermaine Fetty made a massive contribution on the offensive line, and just in general, the Bears weren't trying to pick and pull offensive linemen as much as they used to, so I guess you can call that the Juan Castillo effect. I definitely think the Bears will be able to outperform these expectations in 2020. You mentioned it. We're already 1-0, and I think the Bears have a pretty favorable matchup coming along against the New York Giants. It's going to come. It's going to be on the back of, can this team perform consistently on both sides of the ball? We saw the pass rush drop off in week 1 as the Bears only registered 1 sack, and that's not something we're used to seeing in years past. Just in general, the defense looked a bit off, but I think the defense has the veteran leadership, also has the new young contributors that are going to be able to pull it together. And then obviously on the offensive side of the ball, let's put the run game to the side for a second. It all comes down to quarterback play. Is Mitchell Trubisky going to be able to perform like he did in the fourth quarter in Detroit, not only in quarters 1 through 3 in other games, but throughout the entirety of the season and possibly into the playoffs? Obviously, we do outperform and outweigh these expectations if we do make the playoffs, or at least a majority of them. But it's going to come down to what SB Nation said, which is okay marginal quarterback play from Mitchell Trubisky or Nick Foles. We can't be putting ourselves in as big of holes as we did against the Detroit Lions in week 1. That basically catered until the fourth quarter to what the media was saying, to that the Bears were going to continue to fall off. It looks like the Bears are going to be able to hopefully put it together against the Giants team, but the defense is going to need to continue to step up. We're going to need to be able to get Robert Quinn back. And if Khalil Mack can do his thing, that front seven can do his thing, it's going to create a ton of opportunities for the secondary. And I definitely think the Bears outweigh those expectations that we had set by the media. We saw this in 2018. A lot of the media predicted that the Bears weren't going to be great, and say what you want about that 2019 NFC wildcard game, but the Bears made it there. They won the division. They beat the Green Bay Packers. They went 2-0 against the Vikings and the Lions. I don't know if we're going to see anything like that in 2020. Green Bay's looking really solid. I will say both the Vikings and the Lions have tough stretches in their schedule coming up, but I think we can see the Bears outperform these expectations if they can pull it together on both sides of the ball, bringing the run game back in. I think if we can start running the ball a little bit more, which is something that Matt Nagy's been definitely hesitant about in the past, I think it'll definitely help the Bears be able to open up the pass game and get those receivers who you talked about, Anthony Miller, who's currently the team's leading receiver, Allen Robinson, who should stick around for the rest of this year, the improved tight end group, obviously the speedsters and Cordell Patterson and Darnell Mooney. It'll give all those guys opportunities to be able to use their talents to the team's strengths. And if the run game is going well, I think we're going to be able to spread the field and get some defenses missing more. So I definitely think that was a long statement, but I definitely think the Bears will be able to outperform these predictions in 2020. One more question before we sign off here for you, Jaylen. The playoffs may seem like a stretch this year. I mean, we saw Green Bay come out hot, and it seems like they're also going to be a team that outweighs their expectations in 2020 after not picking up any significant weapons for Aaron Rodgers this offseason. We saw Valdez-Scantling do his thing, Allen Lazard, Devontae Adams, obviously, and the Packers are looking very good. So I don't know how much of a chance the Bears are going to have to be able to clinch the division, but wild card does seem somewhat more realistic if this Bears team can pull it together. So Jaylen, what do you think? After 1 week, and obviously, I guess we could call this an overreaction Monday on a Thursday, but after 1 week, where do you see this Bears team finishing this season, and do you see them clinching a playoff spot?
So after 1 week, I'm a fan at the end of the day, and I want us to be the number one seed in the league. I don't want any team to be better than us. But if I'm being realistic, as a person who talks football on a week-to-week basis, I'm gonna say we get one of the wild card spots. The Green Bay Packers. I didn't expect Green Bay to come and score 40 points in week one. I don't think anybody saw that. Aaron Rodgers is looking great for him to be in year?
God knows what.
Exactly, but he's been in the league a long time. He's won a Super Bowl. Obviously, he's played very well as a quarterback, and I hate that he's in our division. But that team is looking very well, especially without any weapons for him other than Devontae Adams. I see us get one of the wild card spots. So I see us finishing second or maybe even third in the division. We don't know how the Vikings will look. They obviously let Green Bay score 40, but they also put 30 up at the same time. Maybe it was in garbage time, garbage time Kurt, but we're not going to get into that still. As long as Mitchell Trubisky plays consistent like I know he can, I've been talking about this the whole offseason. I know Mitchell Trubisky can play consistently. He just need an offensive line to give him protection in the pocket. People love to talk about for the Lions game that he didn't play well for the first three quarters, and that's partly true. He was throwing some bad balls, but I just like the positive part that we put up 21 points in one quarter. I don't remember the last time we did that. I don't even think we did that back in 2018 when the offense was it wasn't elite, but we were able to put points on the board when we needed to. So if we can do that for the rest of the quarters and put up touchdowns here and there, there's nothing stopping this team, especially if the defense can get back on track like they were last season.
I mean, you look at these media projections, and it seems like the average of the ones, at least I have the Bears coming in at around 7 to 8 wins. And I think the Bears have a lot of beatable opponents left on their schedule. We'll have to see if some of these teams can get it together or not. But obviously we saw the Colts lose, as well as the Falcons, who the Bears play in weeks 3 and 4. Tampa Bay went down to the Saints, but you have to respect the Saints. And Tom Brady and that team seems like they're going to get it underway eventually. The Rams looks pretty solid. Panthers also looked pretty good. Not the greatest debut from the Titans or the Vikings or the Texans. And, the Jaguars are going to be a beatable team, even though they did shock some people and turn some heads beating the Indianapolis Colts. But, I'm going to stay strong with my projection from the beginning of the season. It was tough for me to choose whether I thought the Bears were going to win 9 or 10 games. But if they can get consistent play out of the quarterback, I also, one word I said all offseason is salvageable blocking from the offensive line. I think the Bears get a wild card spot this year. I'm confident. You can say what you want in the comments, but I'm going to go with my gut. I think a wild card spot is something that the Bears definitely could be looked to competing for in this 2020 season with consistent quarterback play as well as consistent enough offensive line play. And I trust the defense to be able to do their thing. I discussed earlier that I think there was a little bit of a fall off looking at Pagano now, but I still think they'll be able to do their thing. We have a ton of grizzled veterans on that defense, a ton of all-pros and Pro Bowlers. I think they'll be able to get their job done. So it really does come down to this offense if the defense can hold their own. But they weren't really able to in week one for the most part, so we'll have to see how it progresses moving forward. But I think Jaylen and I are both in agreement that the Bears can hopefully get a wild card spot and definitely, if not anything, be able to outweigh a good bit of these media projections throughout the offseason. That'll pretty much do it for episode 83 of Uncut. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you want more content from us, head over to our website, beareddown.com. You can find columns, articles, and blogs posted on there basically every other day. Sometimes we post multiple in a day. Sometimes we do every day. It really just depends on what we're feeling. But we have a ton of extra content over on our website for you guys, so be sure to check that out. If you want to find us on social media, you can head over to Instagram and Twitter and find us at Beared Down. And finally, you can find the links to me and Jaylen's Instagram fan pages down in the description. Those are definitely worth checking out as well. Jaylen McClinton, we're grinding. It really does feel good putting out some stuff for the best fans in the world. The double upload streak seems like it's going to stay alive, at least for the time being. So any last words?
I haven't said this since I think the post-game show on Sunday. Mitchell is about that bread and bear down. That's about it.
Yeah, you did forget to say that for a couple episodes, but
I know you gotta remind me, bro.
Let's hope Mitchell can keep being about that bread, not only in the upcoming game against the Giants, but throughout the 2020 season, because that would definitely fare in the favor of the Bears. Once again, it's been a pleasure to be your host. My name is Chris Malpe. If you made it this far in the video, do us a favor if you haven't already. Click a like on this video and also subscribe if you are new. It's been a pleasure. Bears fans, do us a favor. As always, stay safe and bear down. We'll see you in the next one. Another episode of Uncut coming out on Thursday night. And that's pretty much it. We'll see you then. Peace.